Greetings YouTube, and welcome to my third binder of weapon sketches. Nothing on the label of this one, sorry about that. Okay, so we start off with a double-ended glaive. So you have two glaive blades, heavy glaives, with a shaft in the middle. I kind of like this one, I thought it was kind of cool. And here we have, let's give that a turn. This is a design inspired by the science fiction race the Werin, from, shoot, now I can't remember where they're from. They're from a Wizard of the Coast setting, I believe. But just a very heavy, chopping, slashing weapon. You could use it for piercing, but also with a sword catcher built into it. I kind of like that design. Here we have a saber, which has a big sweep up here and a nice guard. I kind of like the way this one came out. Could be almost like a science fiction cutlass if you wanted. Here we have a two-bladed sword, which is too thin. It's just too thin. There's no way about that. If I had made it thicker, I think it could have worked, but I made it too thin. I like the curve. I like the proportions of the blade length to handle, but it's just not thick enough. It wouldn't function. Here we have a four-bladed spearhead, so it's got a cross-section like that. Designed for monster hunting. Here we have a chain weapon. So you have the handle you grip in your one hand, and then the other which you swing with a chain links between it, and then you can pull back. You can use it as disarming, tripping, slashing, and of course the links are all smooth, unlike a spiked chain. Here we have another silly take on a double-ended scythe. Yes, I don't know why I took these requests, but I did. Here we have another double-ended sword. Apparently I was into double-ended swords at one time. And I like the way this is executed. It was very simple, very straightforward, and it looks like it would almost function. I'd have to actually have someone who knew something about martial arts to try that one. Now here we have an elven saber. So you have this lots of curves. These sections in here are actually cylindrical, with openings, and then a cylindrical or the oval shape, probably oval shaped grip, so it doesn't turn your hand. But lots of just really wonderful curves. I love this. I'm still very happy with that design. And here we have a bronze leaf blade sword. Pretty much straightforward, though I threw in some piercings and some rivets just for giggles. And I like that one. I think it works very well. Here we have a weapon designed to be two-handed, and it's all slashing edge. Though I guess if you really wanted to, you could try to pierce with these two ends. And obviously designed in some kind of weird Klingon martial art variety. Here we have a one-handed mace, which is a wooden head set with metal points, banding here and here, a metal shaft, and a wooden grip. And I really like this design. I think that's I still think that's an excellent design. I did a good job on that one. Here we have another hand blade, and I think that this proportion here, really like this curve. This is thick enough. These are too long. They should have been far shorter. They should have only come about half that way, and I think it would have succeeded. I just made them too long. I was going for like an oxen style look to that. Here we have a hand axe, which I designed. So you can see here, there's a cross section of the blade that you're looking at it from the spine. That's how it looks like that, and it's full tang, comes all the way down. And I designed this as two of these to be used by a ranger in both as tools and in hand-to-hand combat. I like that design. It looks very functional. Here we have kind of an alien two-handed sword. Heavy chopping, all curves, no real point at all. These cutouts are a little on the silly side. Those points are snap off in a heartbeat, but it had a nice alien vibe and it succeeded. And this one is designed for a group of halflings. This is the grip, and you throw it, and these other 4 points are then designed so that one of them will hit your enemy and create a slashing wound, maybe even pierce them. It's only sharp on the inside like that. So obviously based on a 5-pointed star. Here we have another heavy two-handed sword blade, and not horrible, a little busy. I think I could have done a better job in that one. Here we have one which I happen to really like, that someone's like, it would be way too heavy. Well, my illustration is probably much thicker than it would be in real life. This blade is here. This is a collar. You slip your hand through the collar, and there's padding on the inside of this collar. You grab it here, then it turns your entire arm into a slashing, piercing weapon. I designed this as a device used in dwarven tunnel fighting. Real experts would use one in each arm. And it's thicker than it would be in real life. So in real life, that would be thinner than I'm depicting here. But I needed to make it clear what it looked like, so it's not quite to scale. But I think you could make that work. I think it would be very, very cool and very, very dangerous. Here we go with another kind of inspired by the Klingons. So you have this big curved grip here with supports, and then the blade here. So the blade is being pinned in place, and it's all about blocking and slashing with this thing. And again, inspired by Klingons. Here we have a kind of a fantasy version of guitar, and showing that this grip is an oval, or roughly oval. Here we have an absurd over-the-top pole arm, which is designed for entangling. So it's a weapon, but it's also designed to intentionally entangle clothing, hooking, tripping, things like that, and the kind of thing that you might even see like being seen by demons of some variety. And these were actually discs. So just for fun, I guess. I don't know why I did that. And obviously you can't see the rest of the shaft. Here we have an alien knife, and I really happen to like this execution. I think this is cool. It may be a little thin in here, but overall I think it's just awesome, and it's got a vaguely flame-like vibe to it. And I can see that in ivory. That would be very nice. And here we have a curvy two-bladed sword. I'm still in my double-ended sword phase, apparently. This was back in 04, I think. Nope, sorry. This is the end of 03. I must have got some of these dates mixed up. Can't have everything. But I kind of like that double curve going in there. I like that. Okay, here we have a heavy chopping sword, one-handed, designed for a lot of impact. Not really useful for thrusting. Here we have a hand blade, which has it's basically a double dagger with a guard and a point. And I think this would work. I think the scale is about, particularly this is a cylinder in here, it would give it a lot of strength and rigidity without too much weight. All metal, completely metal. This is just a textured steel tube. Here we have a one-handed sword, which has kind of almost a beak bird vibe to it in some ways. And I believe that might have been a request by someone. I'm not 100% sure. But I kind of like that one. Here we have a weird multi-bladed two-handed axe. This one's a little strange, and I freely admit that this one is a little on the strange side. I occasionally did things like that. But I wanted to go with this swept up, because a lot of times you see these kinds of blade hooking down, so I thought I'd try something different. Here we have a battle staff that I really tried to go for a strange aesthetic. This in here is a grip that spins. This whole thing is a ball bearing. So you hold it like this, and your hand goes here or here, and then you can spin this whole thing to bring one head or the other into effect. With this head as a morning star, and that head as a spear. Yeah, I know, it's a little silly. This is my take on trying to make an actual functioning retractable forearm blade. The scale's right. These, you put your straps in here to hold it in place. It would be wired so that you could maybe you make a motion of some variety, and then the blade comes in and out. But I tried to make this thing so it came out so it made sense. And someone actually took this and they animated it in a digital format. So I think I might have that might be on my DeviantArt page. But I really like that. And then I went and took that same design and turned it into a combat dagger here. Here we go. With a thumb depression, so you could hold it like that. And this is almost 1-to-1 scale. This is a little bit smaller than it would be in real life, but I kind of like that blade design, so I wanted to mirror it. Alrighty. And here we have 2 blades. This one I think is quite nice and is realistic. This makes perfect sense. You could use that in the real world. And then we have this one, which is a cross design, which is kind of silly because there's nothing, those 2 blades are not being held together, so they would just separate. So that would be kind of silly. It wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. But aesthetically, it's not too bad, just not practical.